Listen, and I will tell you a tale, my own story. Believe or dismiss this as you will, yet recognize that I have no reason to deceive. My name? I leave that to imagination.
Chamberlain declares peace in our time. Evening Gazette! Prime Minister returns from Munich. Peace in our time.
Step it out, my good man.
I'm doing my best.
Surely there's an empty compartment along here somewhere. Oh, don't hurry. He's about to blow the whistle. My goodness, you wouldn't pass the morning in Cairo.
Lucky this is Maidstone, then.
The Door in the Wall by Kelvin Seger, based on stories by H.G. Wells.
They remain a forgotten people, living high in the Andes, 300 miles or more from Chimborazo.
And all are affected by this disease?
Without exception. In the course of 3 generations, no child born within the valley of Solsona could see.
And yet they survived.
The purblind guided the sightless youngsters until they knew the valley marvellously. The elders taught their skills, their understanding, their way of being. And when at last all sight died out, the race lived on.
When was this?
500 years ago. From thence generation has followed generation. Through time the people forgot many things, devised many things, yet they remained within the valley of Solsona, the country of the blind.
But how in heaven's name could they survive in such
Good. I presume these seats are not taken.
No, please.
Then here. Look, the box there, and the case is on the rack. Chop, chop.
Rightio.
And do take care. In that case are shards from an urn used during the anointing of Tutmosis IV. I won't have them broken.
Not likely to complain, is he?
No, but I am.
When do we arrive in London?
At 8:30 on the dot, sir.
Add at least 20 minutes to that. There. For your trouble.
Oh, obliged, ma'am.
So should be. And don't drink it all at once. Porters are not the breed they were.
Worlds change, Senora. Some are lost forever.
Yes, and not always for the better.
You were speaking of the country of the blind. How is it that you know the place?
I have good reason. If you have time.
Of course.
A group of English climbers wishing to scale Parascotopetl hired a young mountaineer from Quito. And during the 3rd night on the mountain, he was parted from the group.
Paolo! Paolo! It's hopeless! There's no sound! Along this ledge! Come on! No! It's too dangerous!
At daybreak, they found traces of his fall, tracks leading to the edge of a frightful precipice. They could do no more.
What happened to him?
The mountaineer had fallen 1,000 feet, fallen in the midst of a cloud of snow, striking a steep slope of ice and shale, whirled, stunned, thrown insensible on a tide of darkness. Yet the man who fell survived.
From such a fall?
By the grace of God, yes. He came to his senses, aching in every joint and limb, and there, in the haze of a morning mist, the valley of Solsona wide before him.
Alive.
Alive! Alive!
In the distance rose plumes of smoke. After hours of walking, he reached a cluster of stone huts, men and women resting, others working the land.
You! I need your help!
Strange cry. What is it?
Help me!
A man, or a spirit.
What are you waiting for? Help me!
Says it needs our help.
I'm trying to cut this root. Don't encourage it, it'll go away.
Some bread, please.
But where's it from?
From the rocks, woman. Where else?
I come from beyond the mountains, from the city of Bogota.
Bogota speaks a curious language.
Please.
Needs our help. We should at least try to do
Right, enough. Come here, Spirit. Let's sort you out. Find what we've got.
What are you doing?
Keeping you quiet. Now come here. I won't harm. Yeah, I got you.
Let go.
Hold still. Oh. Smells like a fish.
Oh, stale fish. It has the legs of a man.
Feel the coarseness of his hair. It's just like a llama's.
Let go of my arm.
As rough as the rocks that gave him birth.
He's not a spirit, then. Certainly a man.
And have you come into the world?
Huh?
Out of the world. Over mountains and glaciers. Huh? Above there, halfway toward the sun.
Unmeaning words, Bogota. What do you think?
Hard to say. An idiot, probably. Sounds like his senses and mind are still imperfect.
What?
Best take him to Jacob and the elders. They'll know what to do.
Quiet! Allow him to continue.
Beyond the mountains, a city of 100,000 people. A city where men have eyes and can see.
There he goes again. A wild man using wild words.
Ill-formed.
I'm not ill-formed if you're just... Blast these benches.
Not ill-formed? Then why you blunder around this room like a child?
Because it's pitch black in here. Without windows,
What does
without
he
light.
say?
How can I help but stumble? What do you expect? Have you people no intelligence? No understanding of the world?
Enough! You are a guest here, and will be treated as such. In return, we would expect regard and courtesy.
The least he can offer.
The very least.
And so, to answer your question, yes, we do have an understanding of the world.
What, of the sharp mountains rising to the north of this valley? Of paths, passes leading through rocks? Leading to the cities of Quito, Riobamba, San Lorenzo?
And so, the mountaineer attempted to explain the vast world out of which he had fallen.
The power of the ocean, the stars that circle, the gift of sight.
But those who sat in darkness in the country of the blind believed and understood nothing of what he said.
A clutch of riddles.
Flim flam, it's pie jaw.
The names for all things of sight had long faded. New beliefs and explanations had risen and flourished in the valley of Solsona. New imaginations, new philosophies.
You're wrong. The world was an empty hollow in the rocks. First came inanimate, without the gift of touch. Then moisture, into water, into streams, plants, the food crops, trees. Next, all creatures having small sense, then man. And finally the angels who sing and beat sound through the air.
This isn't so.
Then we must teach you.
Oh, well said.
How dare they? Ill-formed, half-minded, and then presume they will teach me. Fools. I'll bring you to reason. I hold the greater intelligence, the unrivaled ability. I can see and am thereby superior. Your master. I'll prove to each one of you the power, the strength of sight, and in the course of days will impose a new order on this valley. My time will come, for in the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
The idea was set, a plan shaped in his mind. He would prove himself above these people, would become king of the blind.
And believed this could be done?
Without a shadow of doubt, he would rule Solsona.
The most curious of countries? The strangest of worlds ever seen?
Not necessarily.
I'm sorry?
I couldn't help but overhear the conversation. Your assertion is wrong.
You know differently.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Oh.
I'm acquainted with a village grocer who has been in fairyland.
What? Perhaps at 11:30 when they slam shut the public bar when he staggers home in the drunken dark. At that time, all worlds are possible.
A sober, God-fearing man with neither reason nor incentive to lie.
It's nonsense.
Is it? How can you tell? You know nothing of it.
Well, really.
Please, perhaps you would explain further.
My name is Agnes Thackeray, Egyptologist. Last April, I was asked to catalogue a Roman find at Bignor. Not strictly my field, but I know the local vicar, so couldn't refuse. Whilst in the village, he spoke of a Mr. Skelmersdale.
It's said they took him under Aldington Knoll. Certainly his shop was shuttered for 3 weeks. Most inconvenient for everyone. Then he popped up on a Monday morning, bold as brass, with cuffs as white as snow and pockets full of dust and ashes.
Vicar, the notion is absurd.
That, my dear, you must judge for yourself. In Bignor, it's believed like Bible truth, and these people are no fools.
Absolute tosh. Wait here.
Where are you going?
Is that his grocery shop over there?
Yes, but
Good, then I'll sort this out right now.
2 shillings and 10 pence. Will there be anything else?
Yes. I understand that you've been in fairyland. Is it true?
2 shillings and 10 pence, please.
People have said...
People have no right to say, no right to tell of matters.
I'm curious to know.
Then damn your curiosity. 2 shillings and 10 pence. I'll bid you good day.
It's your own fault for barging in. He doesn't talk of the matter.
No, he will. In time, he will. I owe you an apology. Here, the landlord tells me you favour this.
Thank you, but there's no need. I was also out of turn.
Oh, water onto the bridge. May I sit down?
Of course. Your health.
And so an acquaintance with Mr. Skelmersdale began. He expressed a vague interest in archaeology. We walked out onto the downs. Yet, to know more of his adventure, I had to win his trust. Over the weeks, he spoke of his life. I fed him my real and fictitious past. Confidences beget confidences. Softly, softly. Then, quite unexpectedly, late one evening...
If you really want to know, it were like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'd argued with Millie. Needed to sort things straight in my head, so I wandered out across Aldington Knoll. Midsummer's night. I sat for hours watching the lights of the village below. Fell asleep, and when I woke, all the world had changed. Tall trees completely hid the sky. On their leaves, 1,000 glowworms shone in the dark. And I was small, surrounded by people still smaller than myself. Amazed, and there, walking toward me, her, clothed in filmy green, gathered at the waist by a silver girdle. On her brow a tiara set with a single star.
I saw you in the other world and loved you dearly.
Leading me deep into the forest. Trees murmured. Music came from nodding flowers. And 100 tiny people laughing, dancing, placing her hand on my hand.
I love you.
It was as much as I could do to keep my head.
Love you.
I'm a bespoke man, madam. Millie Turnbull, that is, from Clapham Over Hill. You must know of it.
Adore you.
My fiancée, that is. She'd be so angry I only have to look at another woman.
Ask whatever you want of me. Riches, gold, even your heart's delight, your secret desire.
Well, a new bicycle for the shop would be handy.
All wishes are yours, but first, kiss me.
But we're hardly introduced, and besides...
Kiss me. Kiss me.
And like a fool I did. She was so beautiful in such a shimmering land. A magic. Day following day, a magic. I was so content. Hardly noticed the time, the weeks passing. Then one evening, on a bed of coral flowers,
I'd hoped you might return, my love, that you'd stay. But I see I must let you back into the world.
all of a sudden I lay there pale and shivering.
And you said nothing? Surely you said something?
Nothing. I could think of nothing.
They will give you gold.
Don't go. She looked back crying. I could see the shine of her eyes. Lost. The mass of little fellows come bustling about me, nipping, biting, stuffing my pockets with coins and trinkets.
Let go, I don't want this. Stay! Please stay! I must speak with you again!
I followed after her. They were pinching and shouting, but she was gone. I ran and ran, stumbled, fell, rolled over and over, and suddenly found myself sprawling out on Aldington Knoll, all lonely under the stars.
Surely this was all some vivid dream.
No. My pockets were stuffed with ashes, pinches burned into my arms. I'd lost 3 weeks. And the world into which I returned was everywhere a dismal shadow. The world, Mrs. Thackeray, is still shadow.
But what of Millie? She was here for you.
She left. Married her cousin in Cranley. Yet I was pleased because for me everything had changed for good. I fell in love with this most exquisite creature. Day and night constantly in mind. I wanted her so much. I still do.
You must look to the future. There's always hope in the days to come.
No, you don't understand. You haven't known what I have known. Time and time on Aldington Knoll I still called to them to let me in. A dunderhead and miserable. So many years of longing, wondering. You see, Mrs. Thackeray, it's all time lost, time wasted. My future is also a wasted land. I fully accept the fact. It's my fate. There. You wanted to hear of Aldington Knoll? There. In all its sad truth.
And that's the tale of Mr. Skelmersdale, just as he told it to me.
Beyond the wildest dream.
No nonsense.
Too rash a skeptic. Whether it really happened or was some shadow cast in the mind, I cannot say. But I will not entertain that Skelmersdale invented the incident. The man has neither the wit nor imagination to create such a fiction.
Is it possible?
I merely tell the tale. I'm too long in the tooth to justify or explain. Suffice to say, I cannot disprove its possibility.
That's hardly reason enough to believe.
For each to decide upon, there are more things in heaven and earth.
Perhaps.
But I interrupted your conversation.
My friend, where were we?
Yeah. The mountaineer attempting to explain the world of sight. The eldest dismissing his words. Anger. The arrogant belief that he would impose his understanding upon the villagers and thereby become their master.
The mountaineer stood on the slope of a hill. Before him stretched the pattern of the village. Obstacles, irregularities in path and meadow had long since been cleared away. The country of the blind, encircled by its high boundary wall, precise, uniform, an ordered landscape, an enclosed world.
Bogacha!
The villagers worked during the cooler hours of night, handling a hoe and spade with the expertise of any man.
Come along.
Their abilities, their senses were marvellously acute. They could hear and judge The slightest gesture at 100 yards.
Why didn't you answer?
I wanted you to find me.
But you're here. Why play games? Now,
Where am I now?
trampling the grass. Don't, it's not allowed. Now come along, we've ditches to dig. Follow my footsteps.
I can see. My time will come. I'll make it so.
Come on.
Has no one told you that in the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king?
What is blind?
Medina Sarote.
You cut the ground like a child, Bogota. You've no skill as yet.
How can you tell?
Your spade jars through the earth. There's no rhythm, no pattern. Here, some salt bread and cheese.
Oh, thank you. Stay and talk to me.
I've work. Maria is waiting.
I'll tell you of the shining stars, of the sun rising in the morning,
Senseless words.
of the rainbow, the crystal gleam of waterfalls, the mountains.
There are no mountains. The elders have told you many times. The end of the rocks where the llamas graze is the end of the world. There the roof of the world begins. Oh, why won't you learn? It's for your own good.
Medina.
No. Your words are deceit. Dreams. I'll hear no more. I've work to do.
You don't understand. The world has neither end nor roof.
A wicked thought. Are we to take lessons from a muddlehead, a babbler? Is that what we want?
There's no right.
We don't need
No.
you.
Right. Here and now, I'll prove my sight.
Gibberish.
Another riddle, is it?
Let him speak.
In 2 minutes, Ruiz will be here along this path.
I can't hear him.
He's too far off. He's walking near to the well.
But Ruiz works on path 10 at this time of the day.
Ruiz! Ruiz! Are you there?
Damn, you've scared him off now. He's running away.
Oh, that's convenient.
So he won't arrive as you've claimed.
No.
Very convenient.
So in fact you prove nothing.
Don't laugh at me.
Your truth falters again.
I said don't laugh at me. You'll regret this. You'll all suffer for this.
He's lost sense.
A savage revenge.
be mended.
I'm warning you. Here. This will prove my truth. I'll hit out. Strike clearly at the head.
Put the spade down.
Then you'll know. Then you'll
Bogota,
know.
do as you're told. Now.
Grab him, someone! He'll do us harm!
Won't be treated like this. Damn you. Damn you all.
He broke from them, trampling across the fields towards the outer wall. Men wielding spades and stakes followed.
A wide line across the paths.
Villagers smelling the air, listening intently for all sound.
Over here!
One man struck his trail in the meadow grass.
Quickly!
The line moved swiftly forward and very soon cornered the mountaineer.
Bogota.
In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. My time has come.
Listen to me. There's no harm done.
I'll do what I like in this valley. Do what I like. Go where I like.
Calm yourself.
Stay there. I'll hit out. By heaven I will. Why don't you understand? You're blind. I can see. I come from the greater world. I'm unrivaled here.
Put the spade down.
Talk's useless. Let's take him.
I'll strike out.
Rosshead Bogota, a raving madman.
I'll hurt you. There. I gave warning. Your fault. Your fault. You made me do this.
The mountaineer broke through the cordon of men.
Move across
He was
this
panic-stricken,
way.
darting to and fro across the fields, through scrub and gorse, clambering among the rocks. He ran and ran, eventually falling to the ground, sobbing for breath. And so, his coup d'etat came to an end.
Did he expect to succeed?
Yes, he held the sovereign ability. Yet in the valley of Solsona, sight proved no advantage.
Pride. He thought himself superior. Pride before the fall.
It is not quite that simple. He truly believed that as king of the blind, he could benefit the village, provide a wider knowledge, a new imagination.
Visions of a brighter world.
Isn't that what we all pursue?
Possibly.
Surely you don't condemn the pursuit.
The villagers were content in their lives. What right had he to impose his order upon them?
The right to create a better world.
No, a different world. A man obsessed by a dream, by an ideal. A fool's paradise. I knew a man haunted by such a vision. Lionel Wallace was an eminent and skilled politician.
The minister's argument remains unjust.
Then you must make a stand against it. You should have done so months ago.
Admittedly, my dear fellow, I've been negligent. But there is cause.
Wallace?
A dark thought shadowing my mind, taking the light from me. Here.
Thanks.
A haunting memory of a beauty and a happiness that now makes all time in this world dull, tedious, vain.
A memory of what?
A door in a wall, and the world beyond. It began many years ago, a bright October morning. I was 5. My governess was talking with the housekeeper, so I managed to slip her attention and escaped into the streets of West Kensington. I ran, laughing, exhilarated, free.
Watch where you're going, lad.
A Virginia creeper in clear amber sunshine, crimson set against a white wall. Arched within this wall, a green door. And all I wanted was to open this door and walk through. I hesitated, walked by to a row of scruffy shops, a dusty disorder of earthenware, pipes, tins of enamel, pattern books of wallpaper.
Boy, leave him alone or I'll cuff you here.
I made a run for it, back to the wall, to the door.
At last! Take my hand. Let me show you this garden. Walk with me, and we'll weave chains of gillyflowers and peonies. Listen to linnets cascade the air with song. Through shimmering days, watch dragonflies dart the streams, and in the cool of evening, I'll tell you tales of Araby and Cathay. You've hours to play, to explore, to laugh. Look, there into the distance, far beyond the blackthorn and the laurel trees. A palace of turquoise, jasper, moonstone. Tomorrow we'll journey to its gates of ivory, and there we'll see.
Boy, come here, boy.
Go to her. She has a book of wonder. Hurry, I'll stay with your friends. Come back to us. Come back to us soon.
Stand closer to me. This is for you. A book of realities, not pictures, but living pages. The people move in time. Look. Do you recognize this? Of course you do. The story of your life. Everything is here since your birth. Your dear mother watching over you. The nursery. Turn the page. Toy trains beneath the Christmas tree. Carol singers. The busy street beyond the orchard. Look, that's you, running along out of breath. And here, standing outside the green door. There, that's enough for one day. Now close the book. Go back to your friends. No, don't turn the page. Don't.
Come back to us. Come back to us soon.
I moved the book forward. The page showed the grey streets of London in that chill hour of afternoon before the lamps are lit. And I was there on the pavement. A harsh truth. The enchanted place, the heart's delight, had gone. But it was no dream. It happened. And all I longed for was to return to that garden.
And never found your way back there?
I never made the attempt. Well, not for 5 years. At school, I boasted to Hopkins and Carnaby. Told them everything. They called me a liar. But I swore my story was true. That I could easily take them to the White Wall. I led the way, searching every street. But I never found the door.
You mean it wasn't there?
I mean, I couldn't find it. Day after day, I went back into the streets, but in vain.
Yet it must have
Who
been.
is to know? I didn't see the door again until I was 17.
Yeah.
On my way to Paddington, to Oxford, a scholarship exam. It was of great importance to my father. Turning a corner off the Bayswater Road. Stop the cab!
I will, sir, but we're running late. I'll do my best to get there for the 9 o'clock, but to be honest...
No, you're quite right. Don't worry. I merely thought I'd seen something. My mistake. Carry on.
And so you went by?
By stopping, I'd have missed the scholarship. Oxford, the career. My grip was firmly fixing upon this world.
You've achieved great success by it.
Oh, I've cut a figure, Redmond. Served my office. Yet not without sacrifice. There is always penalty, always a price to pay. A success. But recently, the keen brightness that makes effort easy has gone out of things. Life has become toilsome. Rewards cheap.
A phase?
No. I began some time ago to want the garden quite badly. I've dreamt in 1,000 dreams. In the course of this year, I've walked by that door on 3 separate occasions, each time failing to lift its latch.
Why?
At each opportunity, some passing moment of this world played upon me. A crucial division in the Commons, my father's bedside. Matters of duty, Redmond, responsibility.
And on the third occasion?
I was in conversation with Williamson, a late evening after dining at Frobisher's. As we walked along Westbourne Grove, I glimpsed in the margin of my vision the White Wall. But the conversation was important. I couldn't let the moment go, and so continued with him. I passed by the door again.
There must have been good reason.
Williamson sways opinion. I was securing my place in the proposed cabinet. Pure ambition, Redmond. Mammon, pride of this world.
Then you acted wisely.
3 times I've passed by the door. And now all hope is gone. The door that goes into peace, into delight, into a beauty beyond dreaming, is lost. I have rejected it, Redmond. It is gone forever. And now this loss, this void, is destroying me. If only there were chance again. What am I to do?
I remember reading of his death.
When was this?
5 months ago?
March the 10th. They found his body in a deep excavation near Kensington Station, a shaft to extend the railway. A shaft protected by a hoarding on the high road into which a small door had been cut as an entry to the site. By accident, this door had been left unfastened.
Come back to us. Come back to us soon.
Wallace always walked home from the house. 2 evenings since our final conversation. Late and empty streets. It would appear that he found and stepped through this doorway.
At last! At last! At last!
For him, the door offered escape to another and altogether more beautiful world.
Yet it betrayed him.
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, he walked from the security of this world into darkness, danger, death. But did he see it like that?
Whereabouts are we?
Coming into the suburbs.
If you've time to complete your tale.
Oh, of course. The mountaineer stayed beyond the village for 2 nights and days without food or shelter. Fear came upon him the second night, along with fits of shivering. He crawled down to the wall of the country of the blind and tried to make terms.
I was a fool, but I was only newly formed.
That's better. Coming to your senses, Bogota. We said you would. And you repent.
I'm sorry for the harm I've done. I'm wiser now.
We'll let the elders decide on that.
And have you eyes? Can you still see?
The words mean nothing.
And the mountains?
There are no mountains.
Good. Your understanding grows.
And what do you say of cities?
Please, out of kindness, find me some food.
These people were forgiving. They regarded his rebellion merely as proof of his idiocy and inferiority.
That's enough. Your lesson's taught, Bogota. Set him to work.
Seeing no other way of living, the mountaineer accepted his plight. Months passed. His consolation in that world of darkness was Medina Cerote. She listened to his words, telling of the far sky with its drifting clouds, painting the pale glaciers rising towards the sun. She half understood, did not believe, but she listened. And in the course of time, they fell in love.
What? He's an imbecile, an incompetent.
He's learnt a great deal, and will learn much more.
But marriage? Admittedly, he's better than he was. Possibly someday we'll find him as clear-headed as ourselves, but not as yet.
Father, please. For me.
I'll speak with Corres on the matter, but I don't promise anything. Do you hear?
Well, I've examined him. The brain is miserably affected, but he can be cured.
How?
The soft depressions in his face are diseased. They continuously move and twitch. The brain is thereby in a constant state of irritation. That's the crux of the problem.
So, what can be done?
An operation to remove the irritant bodies. A perfectly straightforward procedure.
And then he'll be sane?
No doubt. An admirable citizen.
But to forgo the gift of sight, I would lose the beauty of the world.
The elders agree this is the only way.
What am I to do, Medina? If I were to concede...
If you would. If only you would.
3 days later, he gave consent for the surgeons to take his eyes.
You must be certain it's the right decision.
The decision's made.
I will repay you, believe me. Oh, I'll be with you tomorrow.
Goodbye, Medina. Take the greatest care.
Goodbye.
He walked from her to where the mountains were strewn with white narcissus, beneath the sunlit slopes of ice and snow. His imagination soared beyond the mountains to all things he would resign forever.
Medina Cerote. This world beyond, its 100,000 cities. San Cristobal, Quito, Guayaquil. The bustling streets, palaces, theatres. The white houses sweeping down toward the ocean shore. The limitless ocean. That greater world.
I love you.
Medina Cerote. The world beyond, its flood of thought, its energy, challenge, debate, its inspiration.
Will always love you.
Oh, Medina, its light, its fire, its imagination.
The mountaineer glanced back at the village. He turned towards the mountain wall and began to climb.
And so he left the girl?
Yes.
Somewhat callous of him. Selfish to a degree. Do I detect by your blush and by your silence, senor, that this parting did not leave you totally unscathed?
A keen eye, Senora.
What? You were the mountaineer? Why didn't you say so?
The tale of another man, another life, a closed chapter. But yes, Signora, leaving Medina Cerote is the deepest regret. That I abandoned her, brought her pain, the greatest sorrow. What was I to do? I still think of her. In a fashion, after years, I am still in love with her. But I came back into the world.
With no desire to return to Solsona?
None. The country of the blind is not the world of the garden or the land beneath Aldington Knoll. No spotless dream of happiness or beauty. Only the hollow men look constantly towards the past and to dreams that cannot be. I choose to live in the present and to create the future.
We appear to have arrived, my friend. London. My card.
Thank you.
Porter? Yes, you! Over here.
Goodbye. The best of luck.
Goodbye, Senor.
Peace in our time. We have the brightest prospect.
We shall see.
Senor Nunez,
Yes?
I've waited for you.
Waited? I am sorry, but I do.
Waited for some considerable time. At last we meet.
I am somewhat at a loss. Who are you?
You don't recognize me? No, perhaps not. Suffice to say, a voice under sleep, waking a dull world.
I do not understand.
Signor, look. Everything lies before you. Come. We have a marvelous journey.
In The Door in the Wall, Nunez was played by Paul Webster, Redmond and Pedro by Christian Rodska, Agnes Thackeray by Gillian Goodman, and The Mountaineer and Skelmersdale by Ben Crow. Kathy Sarah was the girl and Medina, Ian Brooker Wallace, and Sean Connolly Jacob. Other parts were played by members of the company. The Door in the Wall was written by Kelvin Seger, based on stories by H.G. Wells, and directed in Birmingham by Peter Leslie Wilde.